Pregnant woman was struck by lightning on her way home. Before dying, she gave birth to a peculiar boy, deathly pale and completely hairless. The father felt disgusted after seeing him just once, abandoned the infant without hesitation. The baby seemed to sense something. He immediately started crying. The attending physician rushed over to check on him. He found that the baby's electroencephalogram was dense. This meant that he was born with extraordinary brain power. Later, the infant was taken away by his grandfather. Due to his strange appearance, he was raised in the basement. 16 years later, his grandfather suddenly died. When the police came to collect the body, they learned about the boy's background from the neighbors. Fearing that he had never been exposed to the outside world, and might have become feral, the police chief hurriedly called the female director of the welfare institution to discuss how to approach the child. The two cautiously entered the basement. However, to their surprise, the place was unexpectedly clean. Seeing the boy curled up in the dark corner, the director gently reached out her hand and softly coaxed him to come out. But upon seeing the boy's true appearance, the two were stunned. His skin was as pale as snow, but his eyes glowed with an eerie red light. No wonder the neighbors described him as ghostly. The sheriff then asked him some basic questions. He replied that his name was Jerry. From his composed manner of speaking, the two could tell that he was a well-mannered child who had received a good education. During the subsequent casual conversation, the director picked up a book at random. She never imagined that someone would like such an obscure and difficult book. Jerry asked her to flip to any page, and he recited the contents of that page word for word. The principal was utterly amazed. Looking around at the room filled with books, she asked Jerry if he could recite all of them. Jerry gave an affirmative answer. However, this was merely the tip of the iceberg of his extraordinary intelligence. Upon learning that Jerry's grandfather had passed away, and the house was to be repossessed by the government, the principal decided to take him to an orphanage. This was Jerry's first time leaving the small house, but as soon as he approached the police car, the car began to honk strangely. The police chief felt something was wrong. He looked around, and discovered that the roof of his house was covered with lightning rods. He suddenly remembered the forensic examination results. Although his grandfather had died of natural causes, his body was filled with electricity. The sheriff therefore kept an eye on Jerry. In the evening, Jerry and the director arrived at the welfare institution. Because of his unusual appearance, he attracted everyone's attention as soon as he got out of the car. People always have an inexplicable hostility toward those who are different. On the second day at the welfare institution, Jerry was subjected to everyone's ridicule and sarcasm. He chose not to respond, but the more he did so, the more curious people became. Finally, a school bully couldn't stand it anymore, and brought a group of his followers over to Jerry. After mocking his appearance, they asked him if he understood the rules of the welfare home. Seeing that Jerry remained unmoved, the bully lost patience, and directly snatched his tray, telling him to hang the spoon on his nose, in an attempt to humiliate Jerry. The people around them watched the spectacle. After a moment of thought, Jerry took the spoon. Just as everyone thought he was about to give in, he made a strange move. He stood the spoon upright on the table. Everyone was puzzled, but the next second, he attracted all the metal cutlery in the cafeteria to the spoon. No one had ever seen such a scene. Everyone was stunned, but the show wasn't over yet.